Right. Karen Finney, clearly Democrats are very demoralized, and even the posture from her in that speech kind of underscored the reality. Questions about her political future, who the standard bearer may be. What do you think it does look like for Kamala Harris going forward? I mean, our Isaac Dever reporting that her aides and team divided between whether she should run for president or run for governor of California.
Yeah, I think some of that is also consultants who would like her to run for California because they want to get the payout quicker. So I'm not so sure that that's the right move. I think those are some of her California advisors. And also some of those same people are advising Gavin Newsom. So we'll just put the politics out there. Just saying. Personally, I think she should run for president again if she believes she has the energy to do it.
Do you think she could win the nomination?
I do. But I think you have to recognize, I remember, going into the second Clinton, when he was running for re-election, our chief of staff said, it's going to be like, we're going to string you up from your fingernails upside down, from your toenails upside down. That's what it is to run for president. And it's true. I mean, it's gotten only harder. But I also think you can't answer that question right now because, I would take the time, decide, do you have it in you to do it again? I do think she'd win the primary. Here's the main thing. She didn't get to run the race she would want to run. She had 107 days to do the best she could with 107 days with a team that was not quite hers, with a strategy that was developed for someone very different. There were very real on-the-ground consequences. And frankly, a Democratic Party that had not been talking to voters for 3 years.
The party should be led, to your point, by young women of color. Right, because young women of color are the reasons that Democrats do actually have some of these wins. And we know how to communicate in ways that reach that more moderate voter, but also that progressive.
I don't know what's going on with the Democrats, but honestly, these people, they're their own worst enemy, bro. Like, the idea that people still think Kamala Harris has a chance. Like, end of the day, you can make all the excuses you want about Kamala Harris. She only had 107 days to campaign. She also spent $1 billion in 107 days. And some people are speculating she spent even more money. And in this video, I want to cover how exactly the Democrats are destroying themselves and how, as you saw from the intro, they're still stuck in their ways. You saw this lady, she said, oh, the party should be led by a young woman of color. Define young woman of color. I don't remember 65 being young. So I don't think you're talking about Kamala Harris. I'm thinking you're talking about someone else. Maybe AOC. Who knows what you're talking? I don't know who you're talking about. But if you learned anything recently with the geriatric leadership of the Democratic Party, Nancy Pelosi didn't want AOC rising up in leadership in the House. So I don't know where this person gets the idea that a young woman of color deserves to lead the Democratic Party. How about the merits of? How about the best candidate should represent the Democratic Party, not who you think should represent the Democratic Party? Like, just a thought. Dems donors to gather in Palm Beach as Kamala campaigners press for comprehensive answers. Early in the 2025, a group of wealthy Democratic donors will be gathered in Palm Beach, Florida, to discuss how the party can recover after President-elect Donald Trump landslide victory in November over Vice President Kamala Harris. American Bridge will be hosting dozens of donors at a luxury Palm Beach hotel between January 31st and February 3rd. Spokespersons for the group, Alexandra de Luca, told the New York Times American Bridge, which has included several nonprofit groups and a super PAC, raised around $150 million during the 2024 election cycle. Around 150 donors or prospective donors are expected to attend the Democracy Matters Gather, which is its seventh iteration, and attendance will hear from elected officials, many of whom won particularly difficult races. Among those speaking will be Mitch Landry, a former Biden administrative official, Jennifer Rubin, a Washington Post opinion columnist, and Jim Messina, Barack Obama's re-election campaign manager, amongst others. Bradley Beacock, the group's co-founder, said that this was a close election and we lost. Close. This is why Democrats lose, bro. They don't want to acknowledge reality. That was a close race to you? Okay. Let me contemplate in my head how you spend how much money? 3 times, almost 4 times the money that Trump spent, and you lost the election. You lost all 7 swing states, but it was a close election. The most delusional thing I ever heard out of anyone's mouth. But I'm done reading the article. I think you get the sense. Let's check out this clip from Scott Jennings, because I think he kind of encapsulates something that was perfectly wrong with the Democratic Party. And after that, we'll talk about the DNC's National Finance Committee member, Lindy Lee, and her questions about how the party spent $2.5 billion. Yes, in total, the party spent $2.5 billion to lose in a landslide election. And then you have a co-founder saying that it was a close election. Maybe for some, but the presidency is out of the question. And this is why I'm so confused about them entertaining this rerun of Kamala Harris. But who knows? Not my party, not my problem. Let's take a look at this clip from Scott Jennings and CNN.
Right.
Yeah. If your messengers are incorrect, then it doesn't really matter what the first 2 bullets are. It's that authenticity. And then what's the first clip we played tonight? Kamala Harris, who popped out, and she saw her shadow, so we'll get 4 more years of word salads. If this is the road Democrats want to continue to go down, people who are going to use cliches, pablum, and sort of just word salad answers to really important questions that everyday people have, they will continue to lose. However, if they take his advice and get authentic candidates who may sometimes say things that are a little contradictory, or maybe it's a little raw, people will forgive your warts and your contradictions if they think you're being real. I think he's onto something.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to that. I mean,
Joe Biden himself is like at command thinking about this. Like right now, I don't. I just honestly don't.
These guys, by the way, coming to this conclusion here in December as Joe Biden is going out the door, when the rest of America came to this conclusion months and months and months and months and months ago, is the funniest thing I've heard today.
Can I also just say,
honestly,
he is not governing that way right now with the last few weeks that he has left. That's very telling.
The people around him should be thinking about these things. You need to democracy-proof, for lack of a better word, this coming administration. I mean, Donald Trump stands for everything that Joe Biden does not stand for. And if Democrats are true to their values, they will do everything they can with the power that they have right now, which is limited, to prevent Donald Trump from doing the things that he's already announced that he's going to do.
Are you arguing for administrative sabotage? I mean, is that what you're saying?
No, that's not at all what I'm arguing
for. You're saying they should you should somehow proof the government against the will of the people?
Oh, I'm sorry. You want to talk about the will of the people? You want to go back 4 years? Because we could talk about the will of the people. We could talk about what I'm saying, Scott. No, thank you for putting those words in my mouth. That's not at all what I'm saying.
You said proof.
What I'm saying is that we have a statement of values.
Speaking of proof, they are attempting, I believe in, give me a sec, guys, because I really want to show you this. So we got classified documents leaked, right? They're really trying to future proof exactly like this lady was saying. In the continuing resolution, Congress shield against Trump's hammer of justice. Somewhere amid the 1,500 pages of legislative clutter is that latest continuing resolution lines a provision so atrocious, so shameless, I can only assume it was drafted by a cabal of congressional, who knows? But this is an example of what she was saying. You need a future-proof democracy. How convenient is always about protecting people who done something illegal, right? Joe Biden wanting to pardon Liz Cheney and these other people busted the View's co-host. Sorry, guys, I've jumped. The View's co-host may face criminal investigations. Why, you may ask? Well, she was witness tampering. And Liz Cheney and her, this is Alyssa Farah-Griffin, was an in-between. Alyssa Farah-Griffin was a go-between for Liz Cheney and Hutchinson, which is the lady that gave that weird testimony about how Trump broke or hurt some person's arm trying to turn the wheel, and there's no evidence of this. Look at Alyssa Farah-Griffin. Okay, so this is what Liz's direction. How do you feel about just doing it with Stefan, but answering more questions? You can handle yourself, and he just is there as a figurehead. Basically, give an ultimatum of we'll come back, but we'll need assurance she won't be called in live, which I don't think they'll give. Or B, you won't give us any insurance, reissue a subpoena. All right. Yeah, that all makes sense. I actually agree with Stefan's approach, and I think it's accomplished everyone's goals. I'm happy to tip Liz off, and what it's worth, I don't think I don't think you are close in the front lines to testify live, but it might be worth asking for a commitment. My guess is Stefan cares about protecting Trump. Your issue were more with Meadows and folks around him, and you will You were simply being honest, okay? Exactly. He doesn't want me to stonewall the committee now over this. I think he wants to balance the perception in Trump's world if I just go back voluntary versus under subpoena, right? Damn, look at this interim report from the Congress is very damning. So they had knowledge that what they were doing was wrong. Like they're not supposed to be doing this. She wasn't supposed to be the go-between between Liz Cheney, who is part of the committee, and a witness, essentially. Biden was considering, and probably is still considering, giving pardons for. So yeah, you really are trying to protect democracy here. And this is the lie that Democrats always spew out of their damn mouths. Democracy doesn't matter to the Democratic Party. Bureaucracy matters to the Democratic Party. But when Democrats open their mouths and say we want to protect democracy, it's we want to protect bureaucracy. That's what they want to do. They're bureaucrats. Democrats are the party of bureaucrats. And I don't care how many so-called populist leftists come in here trying to defend this sham of a party. They finish tanking your progressive AOC out of the water to prevent her from being leader of the party, and they still want to rerun this lady because she didn't have enough days. It didn't take you a lot of days to spend $2.5 billion, Democratic Party. For what? Marginal results? And you called it a close election. How delusional are you people? Like imagine that. How delusional are you people? It's a special type of crazy to be this delusional about your prospects. But I digress. Let's get into this video. I want to get into this video real quick before I end off the video.
How did this land with you? The stay the course, don't give up from the president and VP.
Thank you so much for having me. I was speaking with fellow donors after this meeting, and there was a briefing in addition to the party, and a lot of people left feeling frustrated because, once again, no one has taken any responsibility. It's been almost 2 months, and no one has given any sort of honest or comprehensive answers as to why they blew through essentially $2.5 billion.
And that's important. Like, after you lose, the finger pointing should only be on yourself. How did I contribute to this loss? How did I waste? What decisions did I made with $1 billion record? Remember, everyone was bragging about that. Now it's used as an attack line for critics of the Democratic Party, where you have Chris Cuomo out here saying, "Stop emailing me. You already raised $1 billion and you wasted it to the point where you put yourself $20 million in debt." And instead of trying to take responsibility for how we use the money, how we use the resources, we didn't allocate the resources effectively. We could have changed something about our messaging. Stay the course. That's what they just give themselves a pep talk. No one wants to take accountability or responsibility. And this is the type of leadership you wanted to run again. You want Kamala Harris to rerun again in 2028? How delusional are you as a Democratic Party? How delusional are you guys? Like, let's be real here. Kamala Harris has not won a primary yet. She's been anointed the nominee, but voters never actually got a chance to vote for her in the primaries. In 2019, when she tanked her campaign because she didn't know, like, end of the day, old habits die hard. And the fact that she doesn't acknowledge that she has some bad habits, she doesn't know how to talk to people in the middle. She don't know how to talk to non-Democrats. She doesn't know how to campaign properly. Like, it took you 1 month. Like, imagine that. Any person with any common sense. If you told me I only have 100 days to run, I'm going to go everywhere that would have me. But instead, she took a more conservative approach. Like, she's the one that's been running for 8 years, like Trump. Like, huh? And then when Trump decided, all right, I'm done doing interviews, you're going to go, oh, where's Trump been? Trump been away for a month. Did you forget Trump did like 100 more interviews than you did? You did like 33, maybe 36 interviews total during that like 2 month span, that first 2 months of the campaign when she was having all this momentum. Trump and JD Vance did more interviews than both you and Tim Walz. I don't remember Tim Walz doing an interview. I saw JD Vance more than I saw Tim Walz. I saw JD Vance more than I saw Kamala Harris interviewing. but they all got all kinds of excuses. And this is the type of mentality that's destined for the Democratic Party to lose. But hey, keep it up. Keep it up. I applaud you, Democrats. Keep it up.
Because 1.5 billion was raised through the campaign, then another billion was raised through Future Forwards, the super PAC. And there's been no introspection, no sense of humility. God save America, and basically blamed everybody else under the sun except themselves.
So at this point, do you expect there will be accountability or an explanation for the funds, or does it appear they're moving on?
I think a very interesting tidbit is that of the $500 million in advertising fees, it just went to 4 well-connected Democratic firms, including Bully Pulpit. So this is the consultant class in Washington, D.C. They move from one campaign to the next, and they don't learn any lessons. They're not very self-reflective because there's so much in the game. And just to give people a sense, we were advertising hardcore in Florida, ruby red Florida now. And why were we doing that? It was because of the money, because of the advertising fees. Regardless of the fact that Kamala Harris's chances of winning Florida are quite low, there was still money to be made. So that was a type of mentality.
Progressives, I want to hear again how, like, I got a progressive in my conversation telling me that, oh, you're anti-American. How is this pro-American? Think about it. There's a profit motive for Democrat consultants to have you waste your resources on a state that you had no chance of winning. How's it? Like, it's so funny how delusional these Democrats are. They think they like what? I was like, Florida, you have no chance in Florida anymore, and you still wasted money here. Y'all didn't know how to optimize our resources. That's somewhere y'all could take accountability at. Hey, we should have been more. We should have provided more pushback on the advice that we were getting. That don't sound like leadership to me.
Governing the political consultant class.
Will Democrats face challenges, Lindy, raising money next time around if it is not more transparent given the losses of this cycle?
Oh, for sure. And there are backroom conversations happening right now. Some people are fundraising for Republicans now. They're open to a different team who would appreciate and handle their finances better. So the question is this: how can we ever trust you to handle the taxpayer money correctly if you can't even run your own campaign, if you can't even handle donor money?
Do you think that the new DNC chair will address this differently, and do you have hope there?
I don't mean any offense, but I'm not particularly inspired by any of the candidates thus far. No one has really proposed anything groundbreaking. That is the level of change that we need right now. I think most of them are just a continuation of the status quo. And it's the same people over and over again. Kamala Harris herself is even saying that she's considering another run, which, I mean, at this point, I'm very sorry. I just find it very just Pollyannish to even contemplate that. I don't think the American people want that. Certainly because they appear to be learning all the wrong lessons. They're still blaming the American people as sexist and racist, rather than looking at themselves to see what they can do better, looking at themselves and realizing they completely failed on the border, that they let Title 42 lapse, that they failed on the economy, and especially on the messaging, denying that inflation was even an issue up until late 2023, 2024, when it was too late. So instead of attacking the American people for the choice that they made, I think Democrats should do better and look at themselves and look at their platform and see if they actually offer anything useful to the American people.
And you got progressives in my conversation telling me that this is who populists should vote for. Populists should vote for Democrats because they offer the better trade off. I still remember when in 2022 they were telling us inflation is transitory. Remember that? Making an environment that is harder for the working class, but the left has the goal in my comment section to say that somehow they're the true populists. Right. Push a bunch of solutions, push a bunch of approaches that has never really worked out well for the working class. You push higher minimum wage, and then the working class gets less hours or get laid off. Make it make sense. Kamala Harris ran for president. First time she felt spectacularly, and she had more than 3 months to do it. Giving Kamala Harris more time is not going to change anything. And if you guys, and this is my last warning before I head out on this video, if you put in another California Democrat, y'all deserve everything y'all got. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with me, disagree with me? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.